3 a.m.
You're obviously tired and can barely keep your eyes open, yet your thumb keeps mechanically scrolling up. A boring ad, a stranger selfie, a video you're not even interested in. Yet your finger just won't stop, as if there's an invisible hand pulling your nerves, making you like a marionette. In your brain, a chemical storm is raging. This isn't weak willpower, nor is it a simple habit. This is a scientific story spanning a century. 1906, Stockholm. An awkward scene unfolded at the Nobel Prize ceremony. Two laureates, Cajal and Golgi, shared the stage yet acted like strangers, not even exchanging a glance. Golgi firmly believed the brain was a neural soup, all nerve cells fused together, continuous like a spider web. While Cajal, this doctor from a small Spanish town, saw something completely different under his microscope. Each neuron was like a winter tree, branches extending, yet never truly touching. Between neurons, there were gaps. 1920, Easter Eve. German pharmacologist Otto Loewy had a history-changing dream. In his dream, he saw an experiment so simple it was outrageous, 2 frog hearts. At 3 a.m., Loewy woke up. He hastily wrote down the dream, but the next morning found his handwriting so messy he couldn't even read it himself. Putting on his coat, Loewy rushed straight to the laboratory. Under the dim oil lamp, he recreated the scene from his dream. When the solution from the first heart was dripped into the second heart, a miracle happened. The heart without nerve connections also slowed down. It turned out that communication between neurons relied not on electric sparks, but on the dance of chemical molecules. 1957, a Swede changed everything. Arvid Carlsson invented a new method to measure brain chemicals. When he pointed his detector at a region deep in the brain called the substantia nigra, the instrument readings left him speechless. The dopamine concentration here was outrageously high. More amazingly, when he used drugs to block dopamine synthesis, the lab animals immediately became rigid like statues, exactly the symptoms of Parkinson's patients. Giving L-Dopa brought the animals back to life. Dopamine wasn't a supporting actor, it was the conductor of brain movement and emotion. Carlsson waited 43 years for this, finally receiving the Nobel Prize at the millennium. But the story wasn't over. Chapter 4, Monkeys, Juice, and Prediction Error. In the 1990s, Wolfram Schultz at Cambridge University was conducting a seemingly boring experiment. He implanted electrodes in monkey brains, recording the activity of dopamine neurons. Every time a light came on, a drop of juice would be given to the monkey seconds later. Initially, dopamine neurons fired wildly when the juice arrived, brilliant like fireworks. But after several repetitions, something strange happened. The neurons no longer responded to the juice, but instead got excited when the light came on. Even stranger, if the light came on but no juice was given, neural activity would plummet, like being doused with cold water. Schultz realized dopamine encoded not happiness itself, but prediction error, the gap between reality and expectation. Unexpected rewards made it celebrate, expected rewards left it calm, failed expectations made it dejected. In 2003, another key discovery emerged. When reward probability was exactly 50%, no more, no less, exactly half, the dopamine system maintained a special state of excitement. Uncertainty was actually more fascinating to the brain than certain rewards. Chapter 5, The Slot Machine in Your Pocket, 2004, Harvard University dormitory. Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, initially just for students to rate each other's photos, but he quickly discovered a secret. People's craving for likes was like rats' obsession with reward buttons. Silicon Valley engineers began systematically studying Skinner's operant conditioning, the psychological principle that made pigeons frantically peck buttons. They discovered that if rewards were random and unpredictable, animals would show the highest intensity responses. Casinos had long understood this principle. Slot machines never tell you if you'll win next time. It's precisely this uncertainty that makes gamblers unable to break free. And now, this slot machine is in your pocket. Every pull to refresh is pulling the slot machine handle. Maybe it's a boring ad, maybe it's your ex's new update, maybe it's a life-changing opportunity, you never know. And deep in your brain, the dopamine system is going crazy for this uncertainty. Red dot notifications, pull to refresh, infinite scroll, every design detail precisely targets your neural circuits. Chapter 6, The Pleasure of Self-Disclosure. In 2012, Harvard neuroscientists conducted an interesting experiment. They had volunteers lie in brain scanners, giving them 2 choices: talk about themselves or talk about others. The results showed that when people talked about themselves, the brain's reward centers, the ventral tegmental area and nucleus accumbens, lit up, just like when eating chocolate or winning money. Even more remarkably, in follow-up experiments, people were willing to give up money just for the chance to talk about themselves. This is why we can't help posting on social media, taking selfies, sharing our feelings. Self-expression itself is a reward. And social media amplified this reward mechanism 1,000-fold. You can not only express yourself, but immediately see others' reactions. Every like is a small burst of dopamine. Epilogue, awakening, it's now 3:07 a.m. Your finger is still scrolling, from Cajal's microscope in 1906 to Lewy's frog heart in 1920, from Carlson's dopamine in 1957 to the glowing screen in your hand today. This is a century-long chain of cause and effect. You're not just scrolling your phone, you're battling against a century of scientific discoveries. Your opponent isn't the app, but the reward system in your own brain evolved over millions of years. But understanding this story might be the first step to awakening. When you know that the irresistible feeling has a name called prediction error, when you understand why uncertainty is so alluring, when you realize that red dot notifications are just modern Skinner boxes. Maybe you can put your phone down. Maybe.